We as humans in the 3D think of time in a very linear fashion. But when we step outside of the 3D and we start talking about the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension, we see that time is not linear, but everything is kind of happening all at once. There were versions of me in the past who went through really terrible things. This version of me now often sits down, closes my eyes, and I think about the version of me in the past that went through the assault, the abandonment, the hurt, the pain, whatever it is, and I send her good energy and I send her these messages of, hey, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. There's a version of you in the future, me, that is not going through these things, that is not suffering, that is not hurting, that isn't working that 9 to 5, that isn't in that relationship, that has made it to a side of life where these things are not a problem for me anymore, where I don't struggle with money, where I don't struggle with my confidence, where I don't struggle with the things that you're struggling with right now. So I often close my eyes, send energy back to that version of me so that they know they're not alone and to give them hope to keep going. Okay, and I can remember vividly being in that moment and feeling something nudging me forward, something sending me clues. Part of it was spirit, part of it was God, but part of it was me. Okay, I hold that power. Part of it was me extending a hand to that version of me to say, keep going. And my inner guidance system, me, is what pushed me along the way to keep going. Now, if I know that this is true and I know that this is a practice that I do continuously, I know that it's something that I do in the future. So when I get down or life gets shaken up or I feel uncomfortable, I can hear that inner voice, that inner guidance system clearly now that will tell me, keep going. And I'll get pictures of manifestations that I've been calling in that aren't pictures, they're memories. They're just not my current memories. They're my future memories that are placed in my brain because we are all connected. Everything that has ever happened or ever will happen has already happened. Okay, this has already been written out for you. And it's going to play out how it's going to play out. And when you can find peace in that, you'll understand there is a version of me in the future who is where I want to be. And I can connect to that version and I can flow into that version and I can get into receptive mode and life won't feel like I'm constantly trying to figure it out, hustle and grind and do whatever I have to get there. I just can rest in the knowing that I'm already there and that version of me sends me signs and synchronicities and hope in order to let go and to flow to her, because eventually we'll run into one another, just like I in that version ran into me in this version. Does that make sense? Sometimes our manifestations that we see in our head, that we see so clearly, again, they're not manifestations, they're memories. That's why you want it so bad. That's why it's planted in your head to begin with, because it's something that you have already achieved. And what helps me get through the moments where it's scary or hard or I'm like forcing or grinding or pushing is the knowing that it's already happened and I can't make a wrong move and I can't make a wrong decision. And if I know that, I don't have to make decisions out of scarcity anymore. I don't have to make decisions out of lack. I can make decisions out of what I want in the present moment, which will fuel my joy, which will help me be in receptive mode longer, which will push me along in more of a flow state. We are the creators of our own reality, okay? And the more that you chase and grind and push and force, the more you are out of alignment with where it is that you could so easily flow to. We've all been scared into thinking that we have to make it work. We have to be the one. But the universe and our realities will bend for us as the creator, as the one in charge, as the one who has the power. Okay? But you have to affirm out loud to yourself, to the universe, to whatever, that I am in charge. I hold the power. This is my reality. What I say goes, because that was given to me. That birthright was given to me. And when you don't know that, when you don't know that you're creating your own reality, when you don't know that you're the one in charge, your subconscious beliefs will keep running the paradigm, will keep running the program. Your inner child who hasn't been soothed or helped will continuously run the paradigm. The version of you that needs rest will continuously screaming, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, until you get sick and you got to lay down. There's a flow that can happen in life if you'll allow it. You only have to put your order out there once, okay? It's not written that we put our order into the universe of, I want a big house. okay, now what do I got to do to get that big house, and how do I get there, and it's got to look like this. That's what we tend to do as people. All you got to do is say you want the house, and then rest in the knowing that it's coming, and cut off the idea that it's not, so that you are not vibrationally pushing it away out of fear, out of lack. Is this making sense? And I'm not saying this isn't just an idea that I have in my head. This is my life. This has worked for me. This is currently working for me. And it's been years of working for me. When I got into receptive mode, whenever I tuned into my gifts, whenever I tuned into spirit, myself, the universe, the way it works, the way it's set up for us, it started to bend in my favor. It genuinely started to, my life started to change. I don't work 9 to 5s I don't want to work. I don't work at all. Really. I mean, I do, but not, it doesn't feel like work because I love doing it. My confidence is the highest it's ever been. You'd have told me 3 years ago I'd be in front of a camera. Girl, I used to hate myself. I'm serious. I used to hate myself. I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated being here. I was a victim to everything. I was drunk every single night. If y'all been on my channel, y'all know I talk about it all the time. My life then is nothing like my life is now. Nothing. And it has little to do with my outward circumstances. It's me. Because even just a few months ago, whenever life looked like it was falling apart and I was feeling like I was at the bottom of the barrel on the outside, my inside didn't change because I had done the energetic work to make sure of that. So when the last pieces started to shake and crumble and everything inside of me wanted to go back to the old me, I said, why? I've already done the energetic work. It doesn't matter. Life is just changing on the outside to match my inside. And did. Life has no choice but to bend for you. You're the creator. You're in charge. And if you wrote this, okay, and just play with me for a second. Just play with me like it's a game. If you wrote this, would you write you working your life away? Is this how you would write it out? And if your answer is no, that is a big indicator that you're not in charge. Somebody else is doing that for you because you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have put yourself through this, would you? I sure hope not. If you're living a life where you are deeply unhappy, deeply unsatisfied, you are living in a reality and in a paradigm that doesn't belong to you.
And I think it's really important to say right here, when I say that you're living in a reality that doesn't belong to you, I am meaning that you are living in a reality that is based on belief systems of people that came before you. Look at how your family thinks about money. Look at how your family thinks about resources, about everything that is going on in the world around them. Are you unintentionally living a life that was set up for you by somebody else by still believing what it is that your parents told you?
Because our birthright is happiness. Our birthright is joy. Our birthright is to be able to live a life that fulfills us. So if you are living a life where you feel deeply unfulfilled, you are living in a paradigm that doesn't belong to you. You can rewrite your paradigm by rewriting your own story. What do you believe to be true? Because your beliefs are what are going to reflect to you in your reality. It is true. 3 years ago, I believed the world was against me. Men were terrible. I couldn't make friends. I couldn't trust anybody. Money was hard to come by. I depended on alcohol. I depended on drugs. I was a victim to my circumstances. I believed all of these things. And my reality was a picture perfect representation of all of those things. And someone may say, of course, you were reacting to your reality. No. My reality was reacting to me. So when I changed my beliefs and I started to force myself to believe there were good men in the world, there were people that I could trust, I could make friends, I could live an easy life, I could live a happy life, I could make money easily, money wasn't scarce, money isn't hard to come by, I don't have to work a 9 to 5. My outward reality didn't look like that. I began to make myself believe that. And then I trusted and rested in the fact that my reality would have to change because I believed it to be so, because I held that power. And it did. And I started to force myself to believe there were good men in the world. There were people that I could trust. I could make friends. I could live an easy life. I could live a happy life. I could make money easily. Money wasn't scarce. Money isn't hard to come by. I don't have to work a 9 to 5. My outward reality didn't look like that. I began to make myself believe that. And then I trusted and rested in the fact that my reality would have to change because I believed it to be so. Because I held that power. And it did. That's why now I'm not medicated. I'm in a happy, healthy relationship. I had a child even though I wasn't supposed to have children. I don't work a 9 to 5. I'm building community as we speak. My confidence has risen. I used to couldn't get naked in front of my partner. I used to not want to have sex. I used to have to be drunk to have sex. I used to have the lowest confidence in the room. I promise you, if you put me in a room of 10, I was probably at the bottom as far as confidence goes. Not anymore. And it's nothing that I physically did first. I changed my thoughts first. I changed my mind. And then my reality eventually caught up. It didn't happen overnight, but it did eventually. And anytime something had to shake up to make room for the new, to allow reality to catch up to my thoughts, I started to relax in those shakeups, in those tower moments, because I knew that after the tower moment, after the big change, the sun would shine, because it always does. It's just shifting to make room for me, for my order, for what I called in, because I am God.
Also, when I say that I'm God, I don't mean that I believe I'm an all-powerful, all-knowing being sitting inside my body controlling the universe. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is that I see myself as an expression of the same creative consciousness that brought existence into being in the first place. Think of a wave in the ocean. The wave isn't the entire ocean. It doesn't control the ocean. It doesn't know everything the ocean is doing. But the wave is still the ocean. In the same way that I believe that I'm not separate from creation. I'm an expression of it. God experiencing reality through a human life. Through my life.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's nothing to be ashamed about. And when I stepped into that power more, when I started speaking on it more, whenever I started to open up my senses and open up my throat chakra and affirm it and not feel bad about it. There were periods in my life where I couldn't say that because I felt so unworthy. Because I felt so like, well, who am I to say that? Who am I to believe such? No, I believe that shit. Listen to me, when I stepped in that power and I stopped shying away from it, I promise you God smiled. And the universe started to bend. We all have power, real power inside of us. All of us do. It's not outside of us. You don't have to go finding it. Nobody has to give it to you. Nobody has to tell you now you're valuable, now you're worthy. You don't have to do anything for it. You don't have to lose another pound, gain another follower. It has always been and always will be inside of you. It's whenever you decide to tap into it, to hold on to it, to grab it, and to affirm, I am powerful. I am powerful. My thoughts matter. My words matter. My voice matters. And I magnetize the life that I want to me because I hold the power to do that. I have faith. I have something higher than me guiding me. I'm not alone. My voice holds weight. My voice holds power. My energy in itself is powerful. And I don't have to live in these paradigms or these systems that were not built for me, that were built to enslave me. Baby, your whole family came from poverty. Look at the belief systems you were brought up on. Look at what you were told about yourself, about money, about job. Answer me this. Whenever I ask you, growing up, money was what? Whatever it is that you're about to say, look around your life and say, am I still affirming that daily? Because most people, when I ask this, they say something like scarce or hard to come by or lacking, whatever. So let's say that you said money is scarce. Look around your life. Do you still believe that? And if you say, yeah, because money is scarce, you're creating the scarcity. I know that's hard to swallow. I know that it is, because it's in us to be like, no, it's not me. It's this job, and it's these people, and it's this economy, and it's how the world works, and it's everybody's fault but mine. When you live like that, listen to me, baby. When you live like that with that belief, you are giving all of your power away. You are saying that your circumstances are everybody else's fault but your own. And I'm not saying that the reason money is scarce is because you're not working hard enough, or you're not grinding hard enough, or you're not calling it in faster or better. I'm saying money is scarce to you because you believe money is scarce to you, and you're that powerful. Even if your reality, which is reacting to you, is affirming to you that money is scarce, if you will change the way you think and you start to believe deeply that money is easy to come by, that there's so much of it, that it's never ending, that you can have as much of it as you want, that it's easy to get to, even if it's not showing up instantly, if you can deeply believe that long enough, it has no choice but to manifest in the 3D in front of you in your reality, because you're that powerful.